Hello, welcome everybody. My name's Shay Mystery. I'm from Bruhati. I'm here with Jake Waring from Exasol. We're here today to talk about data to cash webinar. So it's how do telcos monetize their data? So myself, I've worked over 22 years in telecoms. I've worked for a product company very early on in my telco career, did many implementations around the world, and I've worked on several large transformations at tier one companies. So I have a fairly good insight. In the last couple of years, predominantly I've worked at EE in the UK and Telefonica. And the last couple of years, I've been working within the healthcare industry. Jake, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Shay. Jake Waring here. I'm the data and analytics lead at Exasol. Having worked at Exasol for the past 4 years now, responsible for delivering business-focused analytics solutions to our clients, ranging from financial services and retail all the way to telco, as we're discussing today.
Okay, thanks, Jake. So today what we'll be discussing is opportunities for telco to monetize their data. We'll look at how telcos can reduce their organizational costs through the use of data. Jake's going to take us through how telcos can seamlessly manage all of their data and how Exasol can drive business value from analytics. We'll have a quick key takeaway session and a Q&A if we get time. So roughly this will take about 25 minutes. So I'm going to start off with a quick poll. There are 2 questions in the poll, but the first one looks at which industry provides the best data monetization opportunity for telcos. So what's your view on which industry provides the best opportunity? Jake, if you're okay to run the poll.
Yeah, sure. That should be open now.
Okay, so if you're able to answer both questions, and then we'll come on to the second question after.
Okay, got a couple of answers coming through. And I'll give you 10 more seconds. Okay, so interestingly, digital advertising coming out as the top answer there with 75% of the votes.
Okay, that's good to hear. So let's have a look. So I've got a good infographic from a telco analyst, Charlotte Patrick. She's ex-Gartner, and she's put a pretty good graphic together where on the x-axis, you look at the revenue opportunity. So the higher opportunity would be in this section. And then in terms of the y-axis is the feasibility of delivering that. So we can see that you're quite right. Advertising and market research is in that higher revenue growth. We have financial services also creating a lot of revenue opportunity, government as well. And you've got here all verticals where you've got use cases in multiple of these industries. And what you may have noticed, she's also highlighted certain sectors in green, and that denotes where 50% of the data and the analytics are driven off IoT products. So let's have a look at a couple of those high revenue areas in a bit more detail. So if we take advertising in the marketing space, telcos have a lot of the profiling information of subscribers, and that's perfect for advertisers. Preferences, demographic information, behavior, location data. So there's a big play in telco to monetize on the advertising capability. So quite big is the programmatic display advertising. So that's real-time bidding for ad impressions. Telcos are heavily involved in this now because a lot of the browsing is done on mobiles, So being able to target particular people at the right time, at the right place, with surfacing ads at that point in time. Telcos are working massive with ad agencies around programmatic display advertising. The other area would be personalization. So again, targeting advertising. You know a lot about the subscriber, you know about their habits, their preferences, their demographic information. You know brand loyalties, alliances. You can then start targeting that are very specific to their needs. So you're not going to annoy them with the kind of advertising you're going to provide them. You're going to give them specific offers that they would be keen to take, and you can measure that uptake. So big opportunities in advertising and marketing. One of the other areas would be if you're running an outdoor event and you wanted to have a look at what marketing you could provide within that outdoor event. Again, because you know you have that subscriber data, you have the location data, you can target specific adverts at these outdoor locations. So another good use case where a lot of money's already been driven is financial services. So if you think about fraudulent activities, so a customer may be wanting to make a loan application, the financial institutions want to make sure real time, for example, has their mobile number changed recently, because they want to avoid any kind of identity fraud, someone else applying for a mobile loan. They may be wanting to check locations of subscribers. So if they're traveling abroad and the card's being used, they can real time come in and have a look at that particular subscriber data and understand that they are in the location that the transaction's happening. So there's big plays and use cases for financial services. Similarly, in the public sector, you have governments wanting to be able to understand their assets more. So they want to be able to understand how their infrastructure is being used. So the road network, the rail network, how many people are traveling at a particular time. So subscriber data telcos have will give a real-time view for government organizations to understand the impact on the whole infrastructure within the company, within the country. Another use case would be within retail. So again, in retail, retail will want to know a bit more about the customer. They can use customer location data to understand, for example, how are people coming into their retail shop? Where do they travel in from? How are they coming in? They will want to understand who are they targeting. They may want to launch specific campaigns for that group of people within a vicinity. So you've got the opportunity to launch a geofence campaign. So if I'm passing a particular region and I've got a brand affiliation with that, I may get an offer onto my mobile phone offering me a certain promotion, and then I'm in that location to transact. So there are many use cases also within retail. So one of the biggest areas I see is how do telcos monetize IoT related data? So the adoption of IoT, IoT devices and 5G connectivity is going to proliferate data. You're going to create a lot more data. What are we going to do with that data? So it's anticipated that we're going to be dealing with over 175 zettabytes of data by 2025. Now, how do telcos play a big role in that part? So one of the areas I see will be around industrial IoT. So if we take Industry 4.0 and manufacturing, we're going to have a lot more devices at the manufacturing plants. You're going to have a whole ecosystem, a whole partner ecosystem that's going to help deliver the overall end-to-end solution. So connectivity will be a big play, but it's the data that will be important, and it's how you manage that data real time. So all the data coming off the devices, being interpreted, being then stored on the edge. So edge computing will be a big factor, and then the analytics you run off the back of that real time. So you can do predictive analytics, you can make real-time decisions there and then, and you can make that data available to other parts of your organization. So I can see manufacturing being a big area, and smart cities. So if we take smart cities in a similar vein, we've got all the data that's come from the IoT platforms, and you'll be able to start monitoring energy levels. You'll be able to manage your buildings a lot better off the back of the data. So again, data will drive the decisions that are being made, and in turn reduce or increase, reduce your monetary spend in effect. So one of the big targets that countries have and governments have right now is sustainability, and smart cities will play a big role in that. IoT will help reduce energy consumption levels, carbon emission levels. So again, there's a big play on not only the actual data, but how will it help sustainability targets? So we're reducing our energy levels, we're reducing our CO2s, and we're also saving money. So one of the areas that telcos have played a big part in the UK has been smart metering. So Telefonica UK have the mobile network where they have the comms hub and the whole network and the data behind all of the smart metering comms hubs in the UK. So again, there's a use case there for telcos to get involved in large scale billion-pound programs where they can be shaping how the whole program is run and how that data is used and analyzed. Another key use case I can see is in the insurance sector. So we already know that there are consumer propositions out there run by Vodafone in the UK and O2 for O2 Drive, where they put these kind of devices into cars which monitor driver behavior. So these are telematic devices. It can check speeds, and they're all used for analytic purposes and also help with providing the right insurance cover. So these devices are already in the market, and you can see things like this branching out to the automotive industry as well, to track driver data and also location. One of the other areas that I can see a big play would be within the healthcare space. So during the whole pandemic, we've seen a mass adoption of transformation across the healthcare industries. There are solutions that are now being put in place where you are tracking COVID vaccines. So you're doing that across the supply chain. All the data off the back of that is being used. The backbone of that is the mobile networks that are being used for the connectivity. We're also seeing how they can help with new sites being popped up. So within the UK, there were clinical trials for plasma, and you could see that the connectivity that needed to be launched because they couldn't get fixed line connectivity were by 5G routers. So again, data becomes paramount in this equation, and I just see IoT and analytics playing a big role, and telcos helping shape that within the partner ecosystem. So Jake, on question 2, so how do telcos reduce organizational costs through data? What was the top answer?
Yeah, so top answer here, Shay, was number 1, using analytics to make smarter organizational decisions.
Okay, so in fact, you're all right. If you'd picked all of these answers, there's nothing to say that any of these were wrong. In fact, they are all relevant use cases helping organizations and telcos to reduce their costs through the use of data. So the key play will be intelligent analytics, intelligent assistance, and intelligent operations. So once you've made your data accessible and you can run the necessary analytics, the AI, the machine learning, the predictive models, you will now build cases within your organization around all of these three things. So for example, intelligent analytics, your finance department may want to run certain controls around how are their contracts performing, are their performance obligations being met? Tracking that through analytics and doing that real time could save massive penalties. It could help the whole organization save money and possibly save fines. You can also put other use cases to that to look at all your procurement activities. So are all your invoices being paid on time? Are there possibilities to reduce your relationships with partners by reducing your procurement costs? All of that could be done through better analytics and understanding that data. Now, one thing that I think organizations don't do necessarily very well, and that is to understand why is there certain amounts of employee churn, understanding the well-being and the mental health of people within your organization. You can use analytics to help drive that, help understand how it is an employee dealing with their work, dealing with what's going on currently, especially with the pandemic, working from home. And by investing in the employee, by investing and understanding this sort of data, you can prevent that employee churn. Another area that's prevalent is the intelligent assistance. So this is having intelligent chatbots and being able to really contextualize the information and being able to answer it because you've got prior history on the kind of questions that are being asked, and you have context that you can answer it intelligently straight away. And doing that in a 24/7 basis just promotes better brand loyalty, customer service, and having that capability just will help an organization. One of the other areas is intelligent operations. So this is, you could be analyzing anomalies on your network and preventing problems from happening, sending out service agents, field service agents to fix any problems before they happen. You could be fixing corrections and issues on your network. So I can see operations making a big play, and doing all of that reduces your costs, makes you more efficient, and improves your quality of service. So all of these factors will play over time because you'll have a history of that data. You'll have AI models that will be running and getting better over time. And by doing all of this, you're continuously returning on your prior investment. So Jake, I'm going to hand over to you now.
Brilliant, thank you, Shay. So all the use cases that Shay has touched upon there require the democratization of large volumes of data coming from multiple siloed sources. And this data needs to be quickly translated into valuable business insights, to monetize the data. So here's where Exasol comes into the equation. For those of you that haven't come across us before, we're the world's fastest analytical database. This is proven by the TPCH benchmark, which is an industry standard benchmark that compares the performance and price performance of top database vendors. On top of performance, how else can Exasol help seamlessly manage your data? Well, firstly, flexibility. So Exasol can be deployed on-premise in all three public clouds, Google, Azure, AWS, and even hybrid, whether that's on-prem and cloud or a hybrid cloud environment. Also, our ease of integration means that we can easily fit into existing architectures with minimal disruption, allowing increased access to data sources. Also, our virtual schema technology means that data can be accessed without having to create a physical copy, which is great for use cases when dealing with secure customer or financial data, for example. Secondly, our ease of use, and this is a cost saver in itself. Our auto-tuning capabilities means the database runs high performance out of the box with no need for hours of administration work under the hood. And this in itself can help internal cost saving through operational efficiency. And thirdly, advanced analytics, which again, Shay mentioned, is critical to monetizing the data. With Exasol, you can run artificial intelligence, machine learning, and predictive models, all directly in the database, utilizing Exasol's performance to provide real-time, advanced analytical insights back to the business. So in terms of being able to monetize this data and back to the use cases discussed, they all require real-time analytics and intelligence to be effective. For example, intelligent assistants will run AI on real-time data to improve a live customer engagement, and in turn provide insight to optimize the consumer experience, ensuring a continuous quality of service further down the line. So in summary, Exasol can provide this platform to consolidate disparate data sources and operationalize analytics through real-time business intelligence. So moving on to show you how we have done this for some of our customers. Firstly, Vodafone Group. So implementing Exasol as a BI performance layer, Vodafone benefited from a 30 to 100x increase in dashboard performance for their management reports. You can imagine this had a massive impact on the time to value within the business. And these dashboards were driving critical business decisions around customer behaviors, reducing churn, and driving loyalty. On top of this, the high user acceptance of their new high performance dashboards resulted in democratization of data across the organization, expanding the initial use case with new areas of data exploration in other departments, such as e-commerce, marketing, and CRM. Moving on to United Utilities. Now, this use case is focused on Exasol's ability to run data science within the database. And this allowed United Utilities to refine their business models for prediction and operational maintenance, in turn reducing complexity and wasted resource time. This enabled United Utilities, who are serving over 7 million people in the UK, to increase field engineer utilization from 50 to 80%, optimizing operational efficiency, customer satisfaction, and in turn, overall retention, positively impacting their bottom line. And finally, Telecom Slovenia. For those of you that haven't come across them before, the largest telco provider in Eastern Europe. And Exasol is used by Telecom Slovenia for advanced analytics and machine learning tasks on huge amounts of data consolidated from different sources that were previously inaccessible to the business for analytics and insights. These new machine learning capabilities have allowed them to simulate the expected load of new service offerings and improve inventory management of over 500 products, resulting in the optimization of stock quantities per item and also reduced delivery costs. On top of this, the ability to consolidate these siloed data sources has helped them to identify designated areas for fiber optic networks by combining previously inaccessible cell power and altitude data. With that, a quick introduction to Exasol and how we can help you monetize your data, I will hand back to Shay to close off the webinar.
Thanks, Jake. So what are the key takeaways and how can an analytic platform help? So one of the things it definitely does is it enables telcos to seamlessly access all of its data. So we know data is all in its silos within telco organizations. An analytics platform like Exasol can help through its virtual schema capture all of those data layers and those data sources. What it also does is you can create a cross-industry data ecosystem. So you've got all of this data as a telco. How do you monetize and make it available to other industries? There's ways of making this anonymized and making real-time calls to capture that data. Also, an analytics platform is just another part of the ecosystem for the telco. And it's a very important part of that overall ecosystem that I talked about. And at the very essence of everything, data is an asset. So it's about how do you manage that asset and how do you make fast, informed decisions. So a platform like Exasol can make real-time, real informed, smart decisions. So I'll just bring it, I'll come into the Q&A. So if anyone has any Q&A, any questions they'd like to say, put it in the chat window, please, in the Q&A section. If not, if you're unable to, or if you don't want to ask anything now, then please feel free to reach out to Jake and myself. We got our details. We're happy to answer any of your questions, give more detail in the various use cases on how telcos are using data and monetizing it and how the platform's been used.
Great, thanks, Shay. I've not noticed any questions popping up. I guess we have just run a little bit over the time slot as well, so.
Okay, so Stuart, you're on mute there.
There's no more questions in the chat. And yeah, I think because we're running over, a few people are dropping off now. So yeah, we will obviously record this. Yeah, this session has been recorded, so we'll try and get this format published to all of the attendees that were able to join us today or register for the event. So thank you very much to the guys at Bruhati.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you.
Thanks all.